Well, week one's done. Not a bad week.
Fired up. Nah, pretty basic. I mean, there's some good games. There's a few good games, couple surprises.
Yeah.
But
Well,
not bad.
Well, like with everything, I mean,
Good start.
It's going to be a slow start.
Yep.
But there were a couple good ones out there.
Yes.
So let's just
Definitely.
let's just walk through a couple conferences here a little at a time, see what we can do. We'll hit the highlights for the first week and see if anything jumped out or said anything. And NCAA football, here we go. And we welcome you back to the Midnight Riders podcast. I'm Johnny.
I'm Chuck.
It is NCAA football.
Finally here.
It's here. And first week didn't disappoint. Had some, usually they're all blowouts. We had some good ones.
Oh, yeah, there were some good games.
Not too shabby. We just need to. I think we just need to hit them. Hit each conference. See if anything stood out to us. It is week one. Most of it was chalk. It was very, very little that's going to surprise us.
There was a couple surprises in the Big Ten.
Yeah, well,
just as far as the gameplay went.
Yeah, let's start with the Big Ten if we can. I mean, if we look at the results, you look at Rutgers who just blew Howard out, which we knew Rutgers was going to be a little bit better,
right?
But Howard just
Howard's Howard.
Illinois, they played Eastern Illinois, which is a blowout. Maryland over UConn. Michigan State had a little trouble.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
the game, the early game anyway, that North Carolina, Minnesota,
right,
was really a good game. I was glad to see North Carolina win, but already you saw a missed field goal come into play.
Sure.
You already saw issues with the kicking game, but that one was a good game.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I thought it would be a decent game. I thought North Carolina would be a little bit better. I mean,
and they lost their quarterback already.
Oh yeah. And that always hurts.
Which is
always hurts.
Now what are they going to do?
Well, I mean, they still.
No, there's not a ton of time. It was a good game.
Well,
just game-wise, it was good. But I said they lost their quarterback, but I think broke his leg.
Sure.
And so
147 yards in rushing. They had 105 in passing. The passing, of course, went down because the quarterback got hurt. And Minnesota outpassed them 165-79. So, I mean, is North Carolina? North Carolina's not a threat anymore. I really don't think they are. I mean, they aren't. They're not good enough. I think
not without the quarterback, not without Johnson. They're in trouble.
They're not a Florida State from last year, where they lost the quarter and they were still good enough.
Yeah, no, they're in trouble now.
Yeah,
and so is Minnesota. Minnesota's not that good.
No, they're not.
It wasn't bad. The Wisconsin game, I expected a little bit more. Western Michigan wasn't bad, but I expected a little bit more out of Wisconsin.
Well, 28-14 final. They all run a generic offense week one anyway.
Sure.
We all know this. They don't show their hand. Did they win? Sure.
Right, but this is supposed to be some of the new offense, the new go get them offense for Wisconsin. Yeah. And it wasn't bad. I mean, Western Michigan's not a bad team. They never are, but it was all right. Good shit. I mean, it's a decent showing.
They're learning. Yeah. It's new. We'll see how they do next week. I mean, we'll just go from there. The Penn State West Virginia game was supposed to be the game of one of the big games of the week. West Virginia is just not.
That surprised me. I figured. Of course, I figured Penn State would win.
Yeah, but I figured West Virginia would be a little better than that.
West Virginia, I thought they'd at least give it a battle. Good Lord.
I was hoping. Hoping they'd give us something.
No, they didn't. Things don't look, and we'll get down to it, but things don't look overwhelmingly great for the Big 12.
No,
except for a couple here and there, but not a. Yeah, it wasn't a real good showing.
No.
They didn't put up much at all.
No, 161 yards passing is about all West Virginia could come up with. 15 yards in sacks.
They just didn't look good. Penn State looked pretty good, especially going on the road, convincing. Granted, West Virginia didn't play well, but it was a convincing win. It was a good win for them.
Well, Penn State had over 200 yards rushing. West Virginia had 85.
Right.
Total plays, they were 66-60. I mean, everybody was. It was as far as ball. Each ball had the ball the same amount of time, pretty much. 21-19 on first downs. It's just Penn State's that much better.
Yeah.
They're just as much as I hate to say Penn State's any good. But then again, I don't think West Virginia's that good of a ball team.
No.
So
I was hoping they'd be a little bit better than what they showed, but they didn't.
Right.
They just didn't.
Moving on, Iowa.
Hey, Iowa scored points.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't look at the totals. Hell, that may have been more than they scored all last year.
Yeah. Purdue threw a shutout. Iowa threw a shutout. Nebraska drilled UTEP. Indiana over Florida International. Northwestern barely beat Miami of Ohio.
Right.
Then again, Northwestern's not supposed to be that not any good. Now, Oregon kind of shocked me a little bit. I know I know damn near the entire roster's changed.
The thing,
Idaho.
The surprising part about that. Look what Gabriel did though. Gabriel was 41 of 49 for 380 yards.
Yeah.
So this wasn't on him.
No.
They Tez Johnson, the receiver, they got the weapons. They just I don't know. It was a weird game to watch. They would just drive and to completion and then nothing.
Yeah, it was odd.
They made Idaho look pretty good.
Well, in the first half, Ohio State was the same. I mean, hell, it was like 13 to whatever at halftime.
Right.
It's like, okay, guys,
reality
wake up, come on.
But I tell you, the more in a loss anyway, one of the teams that really surprised me there was Fresno State against Michigan. Yeah, Michigan won, but Fresno State looked pretty good.
Well, again,
it wasn't a mistake thing.
Again, Michigan is retooling.
Right.
They got everything from a new coach down to a new everything. I mean,
and Michigan is still Michigan, and they're good. But I was really impressed with Fresno State. I think Fresno State's got a shot.
Well, they do have a shot
to do something
in the
conference.
group of five to come out of there. They stood up to Michigan in Ann Arbor.
Yes.
Which is hard enough to do.
Yes.
I
was impressed with them. They looked good.
Yeah. UCLA, they almost blew it to Hawaii.
But they traveled. We talked about this in our pre-thing.
Yeah, we did.
They traveled to Hawaii.
It's always
it's never easy.
Yeah, now they got to come back and travel. I think they go way out somewhere else.
But UCLA's got all those new coaches and the new world for UCLA. So that wasn't exactly a
new coaches, new
resounding
beginning.
But
yeah. And Washington rolled, which they should have. And then the game last night, USC LSU. That was a great game.
I was surprised.
I was impressed.
USC.
I really
maybe Riley finally made a good decision and thought, hey, maybe we need to stop somebody every now.
Well, the defensive, whoever came in on defense, I don't know the guy's name, but they played Division I defense.
They played more sound defense. They actually covered people downfield. There wasn't like broken coverages all over the field, or just flat out didn't give a damn.
Yeah,
there wasn't a whole lot of, hey, you go score so we can get the ball back.
Yeah. They played solid defense.
Yeah.
It was back and forth. LSU looked pretty good.
Yep. Quarterback's going to be pretty good, I think.
Oh man, both quarterbacks. I was stunned.
Yeah,
I was literally stunned.
Mac Miller's a little bit better than what I thought he was going
to be.
that was.
I was genuinely stunned at what I saw.
Yeah.
I was expecting a high scoring game. I was expecting a lot of mistakes. Didn't get any of it. It was just a really
I really think that was probably, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think that was probably the game of the week.
Yeah. Oh, by far. So let's move over to the SEC. We already talked about LSU. The rest of it was I mean, it was pretty solid. Vanderbilt came out of nowhere and beat Virginia
Vanderbilt
Tech.
Beat Virginia Tech. That was your first upset, I think.
I think that was amazing.
That was nice.
That was amazing.
Well, I say it was nice. It's just another notch for the SEC.
Sure.
Like, oh, great. Now they're getting better.
Sure.
Not just a pushover.
I mean, South Carolina laid an egg. I mean, Old Dominion could have beat them.
South Carolina,
they could have beat them.
See, we talked about Old Dominion. Old Dominion's not bad.
Yes, we did.
Should they be able to compete with South Carolina and SEC? No.
Not when you're playing at South Carolina.
Right.
And they did. They were in it. They were in it.
Yeah.
And it was close. I mean, everybody else was
Georgia, Clemson. I don't know whether Georgia's that good or Clemson's just overrated.
I said it in the pre-show. Clemson hadn't proven anything to me, and they lost everybody. They lost a lot, and they didn't bring in hardly anybody.
No, and Sweeney's made it abundantly clear he's not going to go to the portal for a lot of stuff.
Right. Well, this is what you get, Dabo.
And guess what? surprise, you got the living shit beat out of you.
Well,
so
and everybody was talking about how Clemson's going to be that team out of the ACC that's going to come in and they're going to get that bye. Well, no. Well, now they've got a loss. Florida State's got a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell knows what's going to happen in the ACC now?
Right.
Who knows?
North Carolina lost their quarterback.
Yeah, and everybody's going to, you're going to probably have a 2 or 3 loss team get a bye in the first round of the playoff, which is awesome.
It's very possible.
Bring it on.
Tell you what, I know they didn't play anybody. They played Chattanooga, but Tennessee, that quarterback they got, I am Via, whatever his name is. Wow. Well, again, it was Chattanooga, but damn, he looked good.
Well, they got OU in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll see, because Venables' defense stepped up against Temple. We finally saw Brent Venables' defense at Oklahoma.
Again, it was Temple, but anybody who's followed OU, even when they play these teams, they would tend to give up 20 points, 25.
They weren't game tackling like Venables' teams do. They weren't. Everybody wasn't within 5 yards of the ball like Venables' teams are. I mean, we saw something.
They stayed in their part.
And offensively, I mean, they're going to beat Temple anyway, and they did. And
they went basic. Like you said, they went basic.
Right, a lot of basic. Arkansas just blew the hell out of Pine Bluff, which is okay. Arkansas gets OSU next week, Oklahoma State, so we'll see what happens there.
Miami, Florida. That was another one I thought was going to be a better game than what it was, but
Florida's not even.
Florida's
putrid.
Florida's got a ways to go, man.
They didn't even compete.
Nah.
I mean, Miami just blew them all. I mean, in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, they dominated. It wasn't even close.
Ole Miss, see, and I heard the SEC media out there. They're just Ole Miss can win it all. Stop it. Again, they're beating teams that they're supposed to beat. They never beat the teams they're not supposed to beat. Whenever they beat one of the big SEC teams, I'll listen to you. But until then, I don't think they're the number 6 team in the nation.
No, that's awful.
They're just not the number. They're not. Until they beat somebody, stop it. Same with Penn State. Until they beat somebody, stop it. There, rant over.
Texas can shut the hell up. Arch Manning finally threw a touchdown pass, so everybody can rejoice on that deal. Colorado State's horrible.
Yeah, well, let's see if he throws one against OU.
Yeah, exactly. Alabama looked good.
Alabama shocked me.
Yeah,
how they looked. They looked like they've been that same team with the same coach and the same everything. Yeah. I mean, they didn't miss a beat.
Nah, that was good. And Auburn was. The other game that was really good was that A&M Notre Dame game.
Well, and again, I didn't think that was going to be worth a shit, but here we go. A&M, of course, A&M lost at home.
A&M did A&M things. I think we talked about that too.
A&M lost at home to a team they probably should have lost to, but everybody thought they were again the greatest team in the world, and they go at home where nobody can play good at home at A&M.
Yeah,
it's so loud. It's so loud, and they move the stand. It's hard to put, but everybody that's that's better than them, they never beat a team that's better than them at all. They always lose.
Yeah, Notre Dame's
not a world beater.
No, they didn't.
But they played well enough to win at A&M, which is saying something.
Oh yeah, going to Kyle Field and winning is still going to Kyle Field, so it's still a big deal. But I don't think Notre Dame has no business being number 7. Right now.
A&M and seeing A&M at number 20, they're probably gonna stay in the top 20.
Oh, they'll drop all the way down to 23.
Yeah, well, no, they didn't. They're actually, And Kentucky blew Southern Miss out, and we've already talked about USC and LSU. So.
Yep.
SEC was pretty good. Let's move on to the old Big 12, where
you know what where
you want to start?
I'm going to start with the shit in Colorado.
Yeah,
They barely beat North Dakota State.
Correct. At home.
If it wasn't for Travis Hunter, they would have lost to North Dakota State, in my opinion.
Well, getting Travis Hunter the ball. Yes.
Travis Hunter played, I think, 92% of the snaps. Sure. He's going to, I don't care what, he's going to wear down. He has to, unless he's just phenomenal. But having them beat North Dakota State 31-26, and then Dion come out after the game or the next day or whatever saying, hey, look out, we're back. Shut up. You beat North Dakota State.
Barely.
At home.
You barely beat North Dakota State.
He makes my head hurt.
Well, he's one of those guys that he's all in it for the media and for himself. He always has been, he always will be. And he's going to continue to be all about himself. Yeah. That's what he does. That's what his brand is. Yeah. He's just trying to sell himself. I think he's looking for that higher paying job. He's looking for that. He's gonna
move into something else.
He wants Florida or Florida State or somewhere down there where he wants to go home.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants an NFL job. I don't think nobody hired him.
I don't think his style wouldn't work in NFL. I don't think.
But his comeuppance are coming. He's got a tough schedule. When he gets into the Big 12, he's going to lose a lot of games.
You struggle with North Dakota State like this, you're in trouble.
Oh, you'll lose to Kansas. You'll lose to Utah. You'll lose to O State. You'll lose to Kansas State. You know, I mean, UCF will sneak up on you. I mean, UCF just blew New Hampshire off the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, Kansas, again, they almost shut out. They should have shut out
Kansas, Utah, everything was pretty much.
Kansas, fine. I mean, Utah, again, great. TCU, Stanford, that shouldn't have been that close.
No.
Maybe Stanford's better than we think, or TCU's worse than we think.
Stanford's got when I was watching the pregame on that, and I guess Stanford's got a lot of transfers in them.
Oh, yeah.
They were just planning on being a little bit better, but then again, it's TCU. We've talked about that. Who knows what you're getting with TCU?
TCU, you never know who's going to play.
I mean, held the national championship one year, win 5 games the next year. You don't really know.
Yes.
OSU looked good?
Well, I was scared for Oklahoma State. I really was. I mean, go Cowboys. I was scared for Oklahoma State because of who South Dakota State is. I mean, two-year running national champion in Division II. Hadn't been beaten in how long, and they're one of those that'll come in and sneak up on you. But OSU did well.
They did what they had to do.
They did well. They played well. Offense wasn't clicking 100%. Still scored 44 points.
Bowman didn't make mistakes.
Nope. Defense came out and played hard, and that's what OSU is lacked in most of the time. So we'll see what happens.
No, they look good.
Cincinnati is just awful. Towson State stayed with them at home. They need to make some moves. They need to do something out there. I mean, Iowa State, bland. They beat North Dakota, but I don't know how. I couldn't tell anything.
No.
I couldn't tell anything about them. I watched a little bit of the highlights from that game. I couldn't tell anything about Iowa State about what I saw.
It was most of those games. Like I said, the K-State game, the Baylor game, they're all pretty
right.
Now, the disappointments were Houston getting beat by UNLV.
Well, but you and I talked about Houston. They're not any good.
Horrible. Good Lord.
I mean, I know UNLV is not great, but oh well.
And the one that really got me out of this conference was the damn Texas Tech game.
Yeah,
Abilene Christian.
You go in.
How does Abilene Christian put 51 on you?
Well, because Texas Tech once again has a Texas Tech defense. They're all about scoring. They always have been. They always will be.
But it's supposed to be a little different now.
Well, they're supposed to be, but obviously they're not. There's still no defensive players that want to go play at Texas Tech. I mean, you give up 51 points to Abilene Christian, and the Wildcats.
You win in overtime.
And you win in overtime at home. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just one of those one-off games that get there. Whoa, shit! Okay, we'll get our shit together this week. Next week they're going to come out and they play. We're going to have to watch it.
They better.
BYU looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Arizona, they gave up more points than I figured they would.
Yeah,
but they looked pretty good.
Like the defense phoned it in.
Yeah, they looked good.
Arizona State blew out Wyoming. I didn't think they would.
No, I didn't think they win by that much.
I didn't think they'd win 48-7, but they did. So, I mean, there's something to look at there. Something to look at. Let's move down to let's go to the ACC.
Yeah.
Florida State.
Let's start with the Florida State debacle. Losing the first game.
They were over in Ireland. Come on, they were digging the sites.
Yeah, they did something. We're gonna see what. This is Monday, by the way, so we'll see what they do tonight.
I saw some poor coaching,
but
in Ireland. I'm sorry, I saw a little bit of poor coaching, a few bad judgments here and there.
The ACC is going to be.
It's going to be wide open. Like we talked about, North Carolina already lost. NC State barely beat Western Carolina, the Catamounts. I mean, you beat them 38-21, but they shouldn't have given up 21 to Western Carolina. No. North Carolina State should be better than that. SMU, my God, what the hell happened there?
SMU. Oh, SMU.
I mean, Nevada's not a pushover. They never have been. But SMU is supposed to be this new upstart. That's why we're bringing them into the ACC. Yeah. They're better than that other conference they were playing in. Let's bring them in, and then you win 29-20.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
Wake Forest looked good. Duke looked good against who they were playing. But
well, I mean, Elon.
Yeah.
Georgia and Clemson, we talked about that a little bit already. Pitt
giving up 24 to Kent State.
Yeah, but see, Pitt's defense has never been a barn burner.
I know, but Kent State's supposed to be, from what everybody says, one of the worst.
Sure.
Football.
Sure.
Syracuse looked good.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. They expect them to beat Ohio by that much.
Yeah.
But SMU turned it around. They beat Houston Christian by 52.
Awesome. And then you've got Georgia Tech, who already beat Georgia State.
Yep, Georgia Tech starts off at 2-0. So
exactly, they weren't supposed to.
Nope.
They weren't supposed to. They already beat Florida State.
Yep.
And they got down there 2-0. So now what?
Now, whoever they get, I don't know who they got next, but they got a chance in the ACC. They've got a chance to come out of there.
I mean, Miami, of course, beat Florida. So they got the hammer right now.
Right.
They're doing well. They played well opening against a pretty decent team supposedly. So they got the hammer now. The next couple of weeks, they got a couple of good non-cons to get them up to 3-0 probably. Georgia Tech's going to probably be 4-0 with a conference win. So I don't know. Georgia Tech may surprise. Yeah, they may surprise.
Yeah.
We don't know, but
Florida State's got Boston College. Not hell, their season could be 3/4 of the way done. They don't pull something off here.
Yeah. American Athletic Conference. Go to the group of 5. Let's see if anybody. Tulsa did really well.
Tulsa looked good.
Tulane looked good. They put 62 on the board. Tulane shut out Southeastern Louisiana. Scored 52 themselves. Army looked good.
Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Michigan State's not great by any means, but Florida Atlantic stuck around. Yeah. Navy won big. North Texas beat South Alabama. I mean, it was a good week for that conference.
Well, the AAC's they're not a bad conference.
No.
Once they start playing each other, you're going to see who's going to float up to the top. I mean, Memphis is one of the teams that everybody says could be a group of 5 winner, could be the team that gets in the playoff. They of course blew out North Alabama 40-0. So I mean, I don't know. We just have to wait and see. It's going to be a fun one.
I'll say there was no real big. I don't think there was any real big surprise. The Kennesaw State actually put up a battle against UTSA, which was good to see.
Sure.
We talked about Kennesaw State is projected to be the worst team in college football. They only got beat by 12.
Well, it's their first year with the big boys.
Yeah.
And let's see, Liberty over in the Conference USA. Liberty, they beat Campbell. They did what they're supposed to do. They did so well last year playing teams that are lesser than them. Coastal Carolina.
Tell you what, Rice losing to not either one is major, but Sam Houston beating Rice.
Yeah,
Rice was.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a
bad loss.
It's a bad loss and a big win.
Yeah,
New Mexico State beats Southeast Missouri, Middle Tennessee,
Louisiana
beats
Tech
Tennessee
won.
Tech. So I mean, again, everything looks fairly well here.
Yep.
Now the next couple of weeks or whenever these group of 5s are going to start playing, group of 4.
Playing, yeah.
When they start
making is when they start making their money.
Right. Mid America Conference, not much. I mean, Akron got killed by Ohio State. Miami lost to Northwestern barely. Ohio lost to Syracuse. These are the conferences that play the bigger guys. That usually, if they win, it's an upset.
Well, yeah. But the ones who actually got a shot to maybe make a little bit of a run are the ones that don't, like your Bowling Green beating Fordham.
Sure.
Central Michigan, who's supposed to be, the big win over Central Connecticut. Central Connecticut State, where the hell that is.
Right.
They're not. They're actually trying to put some wins on the board for their resume later in the year.
Sure. So, I mean, the week 1 is always this. It's always it's always a fill out week. It's always just to see who's better than they thought they were, who's worse than they thought they were. And
Miami almost pulled off a little bit of an upset over Northwestern.
Yeah.
Granted, Northwestern's not great, but Miami wasn't supposed to.
But you're beating one of the big conference schools.
Boys.
If you beat one of the big conference schools, you did well.
Yeah.
The Mountain West. We can move into that. San Diego State beat Texas A&M Commerce. Arizona beat New Mexico. Arizona State beat Wyoming. Utah State got a win.
Utah State had a win.
Hawaii almost came back and beat UCLA.
Well, Nevada beating Troy. Yeah, that was a good one. Boise State almost choked one off, though. Yeah. Everybody talks about Boise State should be the team coming out of that, and they almost got surprised by Georgia Southern.
Yeah. That's true.
They did not. I mean, they put up a lot of points, but they did not play well defensively.
No.
At all.
Okay, and this Boise is another one they're talking about. Maybe maybe the winner of the group of 5. Yeah. Well, not if you play like that.
Not if you give up 45 to Georgia Southern.
Well, you give up 45 to Georgia Southern, and you start playing the Mountain West Conference when you're playing some teams that's got some punch.
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
Well, they're going. Yeah,
you're in trouble.
Look at Nevada. That's a That's a good win.
Well, I mean, Nevada almost beat SMU,
right?
And then they come back and then they beat Troy.
So
same with Hawaii. They're 2-0.
Yeah,
I mean, they could be 2-0 if they beat UCLA.
Yeah.
They come back and beat Delaware State. So I mean, it's the Mountain West is always a fun conference to watch.
I was gonna say it's gonna be fun to watch.
They're a run and gun conference. They throw the ball. They just don't care.
Yeah,
and they
Montana
get in there.
State beat New Mexico though. That hurt for the conference. I guarantee you, it wasn't one they were expecting.
No. We end up here in the Sun Belt. Not a whole lot to talk about. The Sun Belt is what they are. I mean, you got Appalachian State, who is always perennially they're in the talk.
Yep.
Of course, they won their first in East Tennessee State. They beat them. Marshall is supposed to be fairly good this year. Split 45 on the board.
Hey, quick, where's Stony Brook?
Stony Brook, they got beat. Yeah. Well, Arkansas State, a close win over Central Arkansas. Little in-state rivalry. Looks like Georgia Tech over Georgia State. James Madison, Kentucky beat Southern Miss, shut them out. So I mean,
Texas State, yeah.
Sun Belt's the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
The Sun Belt. A lot of this stuff's going to get better when they start playing conference. This out-of-conference stuff for the group of five is usually,
Well, that's when it gets good for them.
Yeah, they're going to
start building up.
But this, they play these games so they can see who they are.
Yes.
They see where they can compete. Are we this good? Are we?
And a lot of them, a lot of their second games are going to be against some of the big boys.
Right.
Like you said, start drawing some money.
Sure, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's. They go play these teams for a reason. They make money on it. We're still waiting for the new polls to come out. I mean, last week's top 25. The only ones that lost. You got Florida State who lost, LSU who lost, Clemson who lost, and Texas A&M who lost. But they all lost the top 25 teams.
Right.
So none of them are going to fall out. I don't think. The lowest ranked one was
I think
who was A&M. They were at 20, and nobody's going to knock them out for losing to Notre Dame.
No, they're going to fall to 21 or 22 if they even fall. I think Clemson, just because of how they got beat, Clemson will fall.
Well, they're going to fall, but are they going to fall out? See, because you got to look at the teams.
They won't fall out.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any team below this original top 25 that did something out of well, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's going to be in the top 25. They're going to be in the top 25. Who's going to fall out?
Right. Who are they going to bump? They're going to have to bump out somebody who's your Arizona or your North Carolina State who
probably going to
beat Western Carolina.
Probably going to get North Carolina State. They barely beat Western Carolina.
I mean, that's fair. North Carolina State's got Tennessee next, so Tennessee, I think Tennessee will beat them. So
Georgia Tech's going to be in the 25 somewhere. I figure they'll be probably 22,
23, 24, yeah.
And just to get them in there, then they've already won their second week, so they're going to be 2-0 on this new one.
See, they're going to have to make room for USC, who beat LSU. So I think somewhere along those lines, Clemson will take the biggest drop.
That's right. USC was 23, so they're going to have
Clemson will take the biggest drop. USC will make the biggest jump.
Well, USC is going to have to be ranked ahead of LSU because they beat them. So the people that send in their rankings are going to have to figure out how high to send USC. And you drop LSU 5 spots, you raise USC 5 spots. LSU still ahead of USC, so it's going to be a big jump for both of them.
I think USC goes to your 15 or 16.
Well, if you put them up at 15 and you make LSU right below them 16, that's kind of what's going to happen. It's going to screw up teams like OU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Tennessee. It's going to mess them up because they all won, but they may not move because they got to put USC above and keep LSU up there.
Yeah.
So
and look who they played. It's
the first few weeks is kind of just a feeling out process anyway. So. But anyway, week 1 was good. It's kind of what we expected. It looked good. It's nice to have college football back.
Yep, we're good to go. I think I don't know if there's a whole lot. I don't think there's a whole lot of big games next week. There's a couple. Say Tennessee, North Carolina State's going to be pretty big. Michigan's.
We can look at the top 25. This coming
look at week 2.
Let's see what you got going on. I mean, you got Arkansas playing at
Michigan,
Oklahoma
Texas
State.
is the big one.
Yeah, Arkansas is at Oklahoma State. Texas is going to Michigan.
Yeah, that's your big one.
Penn State's got Bowling Green, Kansas State, Tulane, A&M, McNeese, Georgia's got Tennessee Tech. Big game there. Nothing there. Utah's at home against Baylor. I mean, Baylor's not what we thought, but Baylor's always 50-50.
Yeah.
Iowa State goes to Iowa for the big rivalry there. Nothing there. North Carolina State has Tennessee. Oof, in trouble.
Yeah.
Kansas goes to Illinois. Kansas is really good. Illinois is Illinois, but they're playing at home, and they had a pretty big win week 1. So
I'm really interested about that Boise State-Oregon game.
Boise State goes to Oregon.
Neither one of them.
Well, wait a minute. Houston goes to OU.
Yeah.
Look at here.
Yeah.
Appalachian State goes to play at Clemson, who just lost, and Clemson did not look impressive.
Nope. And Appalachian is known for that.
Appalachian State loves beating people.
Yeah. But the Boise State, Oregon, neither one really lived up to the hype, so to say.
Right.
Gabriel did, but like I said, they couldn't put the points on the board. So that game's going to be interesting.
Well, Boise State
who does what.
Boise State showed they have no defense.
Right.
And so you've got Oregon.
If you go into Oregon with no defense, but how good a defense is Idaho? I mean, are they?
That's true.
Is their defense really good, or is that just a fluke? So you're going to see.
Well, we'll see. Boise State, Oregon is at 9 o'clock Central Time. Ooh, geez, Saturday.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll check that the next day probably. But like I said, there's some big ones in the top 25. Michigan and Texas is at
Michigan is the big one.
Arkansas is at Oklahoma State. Iowa State at Iowa. Baylor at Utah. Kansas at Illinois.
Tennessee, North Carolina State.
Tennessee at North Carolina State.
It's at North Carolina State, which makes it. I still think Tennessee will win that one.
Yeah, now this Appalachian State at Clemson's that's a trap game. Clemson's minus 17 right now. Oof. Ooh.
They did not impress me at all.
Ooh.
Granted, it was Georgia, who may just be that much better, but you're going to find out a lot about Clemson this week.
Yeah. But anyway, looks like a good second week of college football coming up. We'll appreciate you coming in. Like and subscribe.
You want to hear about something in particular or specifics or whatever, let us know.
Any particular team you want a little insight about, we'll definitely run into them.
Yep, we'll do a little bit more on them if we need to.
Sure. We do appreciate you coming in. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell, do your thing, and get some more people. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think college football is about. It's going. NFL football is about to start. We're going to have an NFL preview coming up in the next day or so of what we think is going to happen in the National Football League. And we will talk to you then. You got anything else?
Got nothing else. We're good to go.
Appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.